Hi guys, and guess who's back with another review. I'm sorry if this jersey looks humongous on me. I'll try to make it better. I don't even know if this makes it look better, but this is like an Oilers jersey, so it's really huge on me, and I'm sorry if that distracts you. But today, I don't care about that, but I know everybody wants me to make more reviews, so here we go. This is a review of Spider-Man Homecoming, and I promise there will be no spoilers in it. This is zero free. I'll tell you like stuff about the story, but I'm not gonna tell you anything about like when you go into the movie. So first with the review, let's talk about the story before I give my opinion. This movie is about like when I guess Peter Parker, which is Spider-Man, you know, he wants to be Spider-Man, but Tony Stark is like, you just don't do all this dangerous stuff, which I know we've seen that story before. That's like the most cliched story ever. But anyways, Tony Stark, which is Iron Man's like, well, you shouldn't do all this stuff, and it's pretty dangerous. So Spider-Man, Tony Stark doesn't want him to do all this stuff, but Spider-Man is still going to track down a villain that he thinks or he suspects that might be really dangerous. This is a really cliche movie, and I don't know, it's just... Also, another part about the movie is that, which this is probably one of my favorite parts, is that Spider-Man is in high school, and in other Spider-Man movies, he was in high school, but in this one, it focuses more on high school, and I really like it. And he's facing problems in high school too, which we've seen that in The Amazing Spider-Man, but this one it's more like there, and it shows him more with the school, and that's one thing I really like about it. But yeah, so that's basically the story. So let me just give you my opinion. If anybody, I don't like when people say this before their videos, but I'm just warning you. You're probably not gonna like my opinion on this movie, and I'm ready for them comments that are gonna disagree with me. I don't care what your opinion is. I don't care if your opinion's the opposite of mine. I'm just doing this, okay? And so yeah, here's my opinion on the movie. The movie was another MCU movie. You know how MCU movies feel the same, like their story's just the same, it's so cliched like every other one? Yeah, that's this movie. This movie, I'm glad they brought a new character in. It feels a little more fresh, but still, I can feel that MCU feel that is in every movie. But you think about the DC universe, another thing they're doing is that their stories are really different. It doesn't really feel as connected. It feels really fresh. Maybe just that because it's in the beginning of DC universe. I'm not saying it's gonna turn out like it later, but it seems like their stories are more original. In the MCU, now it's like their stories are not as original. They're still enjoyable, but their stories are like the same old stories, the same cliched stories, the same MCU stories, the same plot points. When I came into this movie, I could expect what it is, because it's an MCU movie. I'm like, well, this is definitely going to happen in it, because this is what always happen in MCU movies. You're probably like, what does the MCU stand for? It's Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's basically like the Universal Marvel movies, like the Avengers. That's what it basically is. So, that's probably my big issue with this movie, is that it feels like an MCU movie. It just feels so cliched. You're probably like, well, why do you know your videos are cliched? Yep, you're right about that. But MCU movies are really cliched. Let me just tell you, they are the most cliched movies in the universe ever. It's like they have the same story, same plot points. I keep repeating the same thing, but I don't know, it's just MCU. Their movies are just the same. Another problem I have with the movie is that the movie just feels kind of bland sometimes. It feels fresh, but then it kind of feels bland. Like the romance in the movie, yes, there's going to be a romance, feels really bland. sometimes a movie feels fresh, and it's like the opposite of bland. But most of the time in this movie, I just felt really bland. I mean, it's enjoyable, it's entertaining, but it's just really bland. Like one of the most blandest, well, not MCU movies, but I mean, again, it's like an MCU movie. It's bland, and it's really bland. Like, I mean, it's enjoyable, but it's kind of bland. Like, I feel like they could have took this story so much more farther. They could have put so much more stuff in it, but felt like there was nothing. Like, it's like when they pitched the ideas for this, they're like, okay, this is gonna be a good movie. But when it came out, they're like, or when it was around it came out, they're like, well, let's reshoot these scenes and add these scenes, so we could put them in the trailers and it'll be a cash grab. Like, we'll get more money if we put these scenes in the trailers. That's what I think would happen, because most of the scenes in it just felt like they're meant to be in the trailer. Yes, I understand that if for a trailer, you know, you have to put good stuff in it. But in this movie, it just felt like everything in it was kind of meant to be in a trailer, so they can make more money. Which is, I mean, I don't really like the idea, but I mean, if Marvel's actually intentionally doing this, it's a good idea. Because Spider-Man: Homecoming is making a lot of money, a lot. Like every Marvel movie, it's making a lot of money. I mean, I really did like this movie. I mean, even though it felt really bland and kind of like cliche MCU movie, and like, I mean, it's the same as every old MCU movie. I mean, still, it might be, personally, I think it might be one of the best out of them. I mean, I think it's better than Civil War, because it felt more original than Civil War. I mean, even though it still felt like a cash grab at the same time, it felt original at the same time. So, like, when you put them together, it's like original cash grab, if that makes sense. That's kind of what it felt like an original movie that wants to be really good and fresh, but they put a lot of stuff in to be a cash grab. I mean, I don't know if they intentionally did that, but it just felt like it. But, I mean, I understand that for the trailers, you have to put good stuff in the movie so you can put it in the trailers. But, still, I want a good movie. That's what we came to see. I mean, Spider-Man: Homecoming is a good movie, and here's some reasons. I mean, as I said, even though it's bland, I keep repeating the same stuff. Even though it's bland, still and cliche, and it feels like an old MCU movie, I mean, it still feels kind of good. Like, the jokes are original, the comedy's good. It feels pretty good. Like, it's really fun to watch and really enjoyable. The jokes. I think Marvel's getting better with their jokes, okay? Like, it used to be immature, but now it's getting more immature. Like, it just seems so weird. Like, I mean, there's some jokes in here, I'm like, would they actually put that in a Marvel movie? An MCU movie that's PG-13? I mean, MCU movies are supposed to be aged to, like, 6-year-olds. And they put these jokes in it. I don't think a 6-year-old's going to really understand it, but, you know, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But I found them pretty funny. I think the jokes were good in this. It was a good amount of jokes. I mean, and yeah, it's really enjoyable. The action scenes, they're awesome. Yeah, I mean, the action scenes are pretty good. Like, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but they are really good, and they do remind me of Spider-Man. Also, another good thing about this, I mean, I bet you they did not do this intentionally, but I don't know why, but just remind me of the Spider-Man show. It's not the animated show, but did you know that back in 1977, or around that, there's a live action Spider-Man show? And there's only like 13 episodes, By the way, I reviewed episode 1 like 3 years ago of that show. But it was like a 70s live action Spider-Man show. I mean, the show sucks, but like when he would be crawling on a building, it would take so long, like they did in this show. And I just found that so fascinating because it just reminded me of it. I know they didn't do that probably intentionally, but it was kind of cool seeing that. It felt more like to the comics. It felt like a comic. Like, even though it's supposed to be a comic book movie, it felt like I was reading a comic book. That's basically how I can kind of describe it. It's like a comic book. I mean, that's what comic book movies are supposed to be. But the problem with, if you put a movie solely based on a comic book, it doesn't, like, you know, it just feels really bland. I like reading comic books, but when you just put, like a movie as a comic book, like the same exact thing, it'll feel kind of bland. Because it's like based off a book. Like if you do everything from a book, the movie's gonna feel bland. Because you have to make it into a movie. That's what all superhero movies do. I mean, this one did a little of it, but like it just felt really comic booky, which is pretty good. I mean, it was like I'm reading a comic book. I mean, I don't know if that's the reason why it felt kind of bland, because for a movie. But, you know, it's fine, it's fine. I liked it. It felt like they're going for something fresh, which I like. But still, there's some little of that MCU cash grab stuff, and they just smashed it together, and it just made like I don't know, a cash grab that's really fresh. I don't know. I mean, I understand that every movie has to be a cash grab. Like, they have to make money. Like, you're probably like, Wyatt the Nerd. You know, every movie, they have to make money to pay all the people that worked on it. I understand that. That's the thing about movies. You have to, you know, make them so you can make money. I understand that fully. But I'm saying, you've got to make a good movie, okay? I mean, this movie was fine. I didn't thought it was that bad. But next time, Marvel, on your next movies, make sure you make them on, like, not really cash grab, but like more really like 100% original. I mean, I know that's probably impossible for really anybody to do that, but just try more harder next time. But anyways, thanks Marvel for this movie. I thought it was fine, I guess. I mean, I don't understand why everybody loves this movie. I don't know. I'm one of those, like, I really like DC. Like, I don't know. I mean, we're probably like, oh my gosh, why doesn't like Marvel? I mean, I do kind of like Marvel movies, but I don't know. Like, as I said, I'm more of a DC movie guy. Like, I don't know. Like, like to really explain it, how much I like DC, this is probably going to get a lot of hate. But, you know, I mean, I don't like the theatrical cut of Dawn of Justice, Batman v Superman. But I like the Ultimate Edition, the 3-hour cut, the one that was released on DVD. If you haven't seen it, you should. Because if you hated the Batman v Superman theatrical cut, please see the Ultimate Edition. It's like 30 minutes more footage. And now I actually like that movie. It's one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. You're probably like, you actually think Dawn of Justice, Batman v Superman, is one of your favorites of all time? Yeah, I know. I know a lot of people hate that movie and think it's really boring. But if you just watch the 30-minute extra footage, like the director's cut, the Ultimate Edition one, you'll change your opinion quickly on it. I mean, I still don't like the theatrical cut, but I like the Ultimate Edition because it doesn't feel rushed. I wonder if there's a lot of footage cut out of this. I mean, I bet there's some footage, but I wonder if there's a lot. Because, again, it felt kind of rushed, you know, a little rushed. I don't like when movies are rushed. I want them to be, like, huge. Like, really big movies. So you'll actually be entertained. Like, not just a rushed movie. You'll be like, oh, that's it. That's the movie. That's the movie, kids. That's what I like about movies. You actually feel like it's huge. But when I don't feel like it's huge, I'm like, well, it's fine. I don't know. That's the thing about movies. I mean, sorry if I went off track. But really, Spider-Man Homecoming, it was a fine movie. If you really love Spider-Man, if you really love MCU movies, you should go see this. I mean, it might be one of my favorite MCU movies. I mean, even though, as I said, it's kind of bland. I mean, basically everybody loved this movie. Like, every Marvel fan. So, if you're a Spider-Man fan, if you're a Marvel fan, please check out this movie. Even if you're a DC fan, just go check it out. It's fine. Superhero fan, check it out. Movie fan, check it out. It's fine. It's a fine movie. It's a good, enjoyable movie just to watch, to spend sometime. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and bye.